I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Guys, today I'm going to compile a very special video for you guys to discuss, because a lot of pension talk going around where pension being cuts, pensions being redirected, pensions being basically gambled in the stock markets, and future pensions bailing out other sectors and other companies, and future pensioners, oh god, from teachers' pensions to firefighter pensions, police pensions, misallocation of pensions. Today we're going to look at the Commonwealth, and we're going to look at from the best to worst pensions countdown. Okay, guys? So if you guys can, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to set your reminders here. Sorry, article reading. Don't forget to set your reminders here, guys, if you can, to upcoming shows where people come on live. Trends in the housing market, Mike in the Night. Set your reminders for these shows. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. We've been having a climb in subscription lately. It's really good. A lot of people are coming on the channel, checking it out, and seeing what's up. So here we go. So these are the pensions. These are countries in the Commonwealth, and we added the United States, of course, that are worst off to best off. So we're going to start with the best off country to be in right now if you speak English and you are getting or working to get a pension. So this is how it sits now. The date now is the 29th of April, 2020. So that's what we're at right now. So we're going to go, all right, let's start it off. Northern Ireland. Article cam, please. Okay, so if you're living in Northern Ireland, believe it or not, one of the best places to get a pension is in Northern Ireland. Believe it or not. I mean, it doesn't pay much. I looked into it. It's not the best paying pension, of course, by all means, not the best, but regular. Adjusts to inflation slightly. Kind of keeps people in check with sending them alerts on what's happening without it being a surprise and saying, oh, I never received this payment for 6 months. I have people saying they have to go to the pension office because they have people reported as dead, and they haven't been dead, and they haven't been getting their pension for 6 months. So Ireland, Northern Ireland, is doing really well when it comes to pension allocation of all the countries I've been seeing. Let's go to number 7, Scotland. So what is the state of pension? So I've been looking at the pensions in Scotland. It actually is not that bad, depending on how many years you've deferred, and how your where your state pension becomes in pounds. And there is no deferral limit depending on how much you want to defer. And it covers some of the pension covers prescriptions for people over 60, eye tests for people over 60. So Scotland is not that bad when it comes to pension, state pension, right? So state pension, it goes as if you defer to state pension, your spouse or civil partner may be able to claim an additional state pension in a lump sum. So if you're in Scotland, there's a lot to offer, especially if you're a Scottish widow. Yes, and if it was a war vet, it's even more. So if you're in Scotland, it's not that bad. Northern Ireland seems to be better, but Scotland's not that bad. All right, let's get to number 6. Ireland. Dublin, Ireland, South Ireland, or Ireland. Ireland's pensions all set up for big changes. They are set up for big changes. I did look at it, but as the state pension is paid at a flat rate, that's the only thing that took me back, rather than earnings related. So if you are a doctor in Ireland and you're getting a whack of pay and you're doing really well, and you're not in debt, you're doing okay, you're moving ahead in life, and you're deducting a lot towards your pension, but there's one problem with that. As a state pension is paid a flat rate rather than earnings related. So you might deduct more from your pay when it comes to like taxes and stuff and getting taxed on your labor, because you're making more, but it's a flat rate. Workers without retirement savings are exposed to a significant drop in their living standards in old age. So that's a huge problem that's happening here. So if you do have a good job in Ireland, the problem is your pension deferrals. There's nothing here that I've read in, not in this one, but many other sites where you could add to your deferral. So if you want to add towards a little bit more money towards your pension, there's nothing here, unfortunately, allowing you to add more, right? So let's move on. So number 8 was Northern Ireland with one of the better pension plans, kind of more transparent than Scotland at number 7. Number 6 here we have Ireland, and now we are moving to New Zealand. Believe it or not, New Zealand. And here it is. New Zealand's pension is one of the world's most generous. Will be getting you at 65. Will you be getting it at 65? So New Zealand's superannuation system is one of the most generous pension schemes in the world, dished out at a rate of $25,000 per year before tax if you're single, living alone, $37,500 for a couple. It virtually single-handedly pulls over 65-year-olds out of poverty and enables basic standards of living. It is a good one, but it's a tough one to pay into, right? So that's why I keep telling people, if you like what you do for work, and you enjoy what you're doing, especially if you're working from home, work till 67, 68, right? So it goes on to say here, I saw it here. Where was it? There it is, right here. So annual household income for New Zealand, superannuation and war pensions in New Zealand. So there it is there. It has been kind of not really keeping up with inflation, not by much, but people are still having to pay more for food, and the cost of living is still going up and skyrocketing. The cost of New Zealand, the biggest cost is just putting a roof over your head. Everything else, you could kind of get by, right? So it goes into something here. Yeah, people who entered the workforce at 20 in 2016 can currently expect to retire at 65 in most OECD countries, including Canada, Chile, Estonia, Germany, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Japan, and Latvia. They would retire at 67 in Australia and in Iceland, and in Finland, Ireland, and Portugal, and the United Kingdom, it would be 68. In Netherlands, it would be 71, in Denmark, 74. So you can still retire, but you have to start working pretty much at 20 to get the full benefit to work for you in New Zealand. That's the thing, right? I'm not saying, go in and work a year and get a full pension. No. But I'm saying you need to at least start working. And a lot of people finishing college at 21, 22, and 23, they start cutting away and having to make them work more years. All right, now let's get into some deep waters here. England. Oh, yeah, England is doing a really good job trying to cover a lot of this up. I don't know why, but England sits at the 4th. I guess it would be Northern Ireland is the best. I guess it would be at number 8. So the higher up the list, the better, right? So Northern Ireland is the best, followed by Scotland, and then followed by Ireland, New Zealand, and now England is number 4, 4th best pension, or the 4th least from the bottom is what I'm trying to say. So thousands of pensions to be cut by $70 a week. Here's when it starts and why. So in England, they've been cutting back on old age pensioners, veterans, and England is getting there right now where they're finding it really tough. Where in England, it's kind of sad that you could find more food banks than you do McDonald's in London right now. I'm not making this up. Look it up. I even made a story about it. So here we go. Thousands of pensions to be cut by £70 a week. And that's a lot of money. That's like $100 US a week. That's $5,200 US a year. Here's when it starts and why. Government is removing adult dependency increase. This is what it means if you're going to be affected by the 33 million pound cuts. The change is coming as the UK government state pension scheme this year, and it could leave you worse off as much as £70 a week. This amounts to a shocking £3,500 a year from around 1,100 pensioners. The problem is, in London, the housing is not getting cheaper, nor is the price of food or transportation. So they're going backwards with pensions, and it's crippling a lot of the older folk. It's all to do with what is known as adult dependency increase, which is stopping from April 6, 2020. ADI is a payment for a partner who's financially dependent on you who hasn't reached pension age. So if you're in a pension but your partner is still working and still collecting a wage, you will be cut back. So that is not fair. Losing over $3,500 a year overnight will make a material difference to the standard of living of those who are affected. It seems penny pitching by the government to take this money away when the addition is gradually working its way out of the system in any case. A Freedom of Information request found that 11,000 pensioners are still in receipt of the cash. So this is what's happening, and there's more happening in England with pension cuts. And a lot of it has to do, I'm not sure what's happening with that, but a lot of it has to do with funding other arrangements that are not going to help these pensioners out that built the infrastructure and built these countries. It's kind of sad that the people that built the countries. Okay, so what's next on our list? Worst off. So after England is Australia. Very hard to find anything Australia related when it comes to pension cuts or pension, like legit transparent stuff. There's a lot of news articles, but kind of, chasing your tail around like a dog chasing its tail around. Government plans to cut income support, dubbed cruel. More cuts of income support payments is also the last thing in the country needs. So this is the 6th of December 2019. This is 5 months ago. The government has introduced legislation to cut income support payments for New Start sickness allowance and pensions in the tune of almost $300 million over the next 4 years. So here it is, guys. England has been doing a lot of shady stuff when it comes to pensions and investing in a lot of markets and investing pensions, teachers' pensions, looking like they're in high risk of being dissolvent, a lot of stuff. So it's kind of scary right now what's happening in Australia. In Australia right now, there's a lot of money going out, but there's not enough coming back in. Right, so Australia is in a lot of. I think it was the firefighter pension too, was looking like it was risky, and then there's a lot of pensions that are not being bought out. That are not being paid out now by big box stores that are closing or losing their shirts because people just don't. There's no middle class anymore, and the middle class is considered to me the working poor, and because the middle class is disappearing in droves, people don't have money to go out and buy a blender or a juicer anymore because they have to buy it on credit and people are tapped out. And now with them cutting back income support and with people's price of homes falling and people's price of homes in Australia worth less than what they bought them for, this is a plan of destruction for the middle class in Australia. Okay, so let's keep going here. All right, so let's move on. Canada is number 2 worst off countries that we listed. So let's go off the list again. Number 8, Northern Ireland has one of the best, more transparent systems. Number 7, Scotland, a little bit worse, but still kind of somewhat transparent. Ireland, number 6. New Zealand, number 5. England, number 4. Australia, number 3. And number 2, we have Canada as worst off pension for pensioners. Cuts to old age security will impoverish young and old workers alike. So that's what's happening there. We have, let's get to some mainstream media here. Almost 40,000 Canadian veterans waiting to receive disability benefits as of November. So this is from March 7, 2019. So we're seeing this happen a lot when it comes to our older folks who basically built this infrastructure. Backlog of applications. This one's from last week. This one's from 5 weeks ago. Backlog of applications for veteran benefits grows by the thousands. So there's a huge backlog of benefits of people, again, who fought for our freedom and who fought to build this infrastructure that we have, that we love today, and all our bridges and schools and everything that they've garnished from their wages. And you're like saying, oh, my dad just fought in a war. He didn't build streets. Mike, yeah, he did build streets. When he was out working and stuff and doing his thing, he's been being taxed on his wages. And if he's in Canada, man, was he ever taxed on his wages. So I know that because I've worked in Canada, right? So there it is there. More Canadian veterans than ever are waiting to find out whether they qualify for disability benefits. Qualify? They should qualify. Why? New figures from Veteran Affairs Canada show more than 44,000 applicants from veterans from assistance were sitting in the queue of September, a 10% increase from only 6 months earlier. So there it is. And right now, with things not doing well, you catch my drift, right, guys? All right. Now, we're going to go into number one here, guys. Everybody knows number one. With multiple layers of government, with a lot of these pensions being played on the casino stock market, and with a massive amount of deregulations in the banking system, allowing bankers and big wig investors using your money to go ahead and lay on there. And then what's really interesting in the United States is that you have these big companies execute stock orders. If the stock order goes bad, they go ahead and fill it later with a pension. And then if it's good, they fill it later with a friend's account. It's kind of weird. So you want to watch the newest Max Kaiser that came out. Today is the 29th of April. Check it out, the new Max Kaiser. He actually discusses that in depth. Okay? So let's go over here real quick. So number one, who do we have? We are on our way to America the Brave. Now, how do we know this? Well, with 20 places that have gone bankrupt. Well, you're probably saying, well, Mike, they got a federal pension. Well, no. There's lots of layers. There's lots of layers of pensions. Chicago has 5. The city of Chicago has 5 layers of pensions. I think New Jersey, Atlantic City has 3 layers of pensions. 3 layers of government. 3 layers of government. It's not, oh, I'm going to work in Chicago and get 5 pensions. No. 5 layers of government in Chicago, 3 layers of government in Atlantic City, and these cities are on the hook for all these pensions. So this is from today, fresh off the press. 20 places that have gone bankrupt: Atlantic City, New Jersey; Cleveland, Ohio; Providence, Rhode Island; Oakland, California; Richmond, California. There's more, but it wants me to look at more ads. That's a sign that pensions at the state level and municipality levels are going to be kicked hard. Then, does the post office need a pension bailout? And what does this have to do with the COVID? Again, pension bailouts. Why? Because a lot of people worked as, mail carriers for 20, 30 years, especially after World War II. A lot of people, deserved these kind of positions and stuff because they worked hard keeping their countries free. And then, things started to take off and progress and things started to change. And a lot of people are on the hook for a lot of, the federal government's on the hook for a lot of pensions. Right. American pension funds could lose billions in Irish property investment. What? Head of Irish court Edmund Hannon says the landscape dramatically changed to specific areas. If you're invested in distressed Irish home loans, so people are buying mortgage-backed securities that are broken, it's probably time to withdraw your money. In fact, never mind that. Your 401k broker or hedge fund prospects said about risk, you can't lose. Now read, you can't win. So watch out where you're investing in, and watch out if you're buying bad mortgage-backed securities in other countries, hoping that they fail for you to make money. That's horrible. Disabled veterans could get left out of stimulus money, lawmakers warn. So this is from actually a week and a half ago. Stars and Stripes is making stories. Okay, here we go. Washington, dozens of lawmakers, advocates are concerned that the significant number of disabled veterans and surviving family members will never receive a direct payments. So this is it right there. And yeah, I kind of wanted to put this out there, kind of keep you guys in check of what is going on, because this is very important on what's happening. America is one of the worst off because it has the worst off amount of obligations of other countries do, right? So here we go. Let's go from the worst off countries from number one past. So document Cam Reed, thank you. Okay, so here we go. The worst off country for pensions. Worst off, number one is the United States of America. Number 2, Canada. Number 3, Australia. Number 4, England. Number 5, New Zealand. Number 6, Ireland. So things get better as we go up the list. Number 7, Scotland. And number 8, Northern Ireland. Arguably the most transparent, the most easy to apply for, but it doesn't pay a lot, but it is what it is, and it kind of helps out. It's older. And then you move down to Scotland, right? Then you move down Ireland, very transparent, kind of making it, people are still, they're still getting money out there for the people. And then you start getting into countries like Canada where people are just not receiving their money, So with all these big corporate stores, big box stores that, kept themselves afloat by doing stock buybacks or buying back into stocks instead of reinvesting in their own companies, like realistically investing in their own companies instead of driving up their shares, are now having a tough time making ends meet for pensioners. So anyways, guys, I want to ask you guys if you don't mind subscribing for the channel, if you don't mind setting your reminders here, guys, for Mike in the Night and trends in the housing market tonight. I would really, really appreciate that very much if you guys could do that for me. And just share a video if you want to support the transmission. That's it, guys. That's all I'm asking. Thank you so much, and thank you for subscribing and being part of the channel. Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel. Thanks so much, guys. And you guys, remember, stay safe, and if you can't stay safe, be careful.